So you're thinking about moving to Spokane, Washington, and you're wondering just how much does it cost to live there? Well, being one of the hottest markets in the entire country has some rising costs. We're going to be discussing all of that and just truly what our bills are, exactly how much it costs right here in Spokane, Washington. If that's what you want, we're getting after it right now. What's up, everybody? My name is Jackson Wilkey.
And I'm Mike Bass.
That's right. We are the Living in North Idaho, Eastern Washington team. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play, and that cost of living, well, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. And we honestly get so many phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating here. We absolutely love it. So, thinking about moving anywhere in that Eastern Washington, North Idaho area, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We got your back when moving to those areas. So let's break it down. We're going to really just showcase, our bills and what we've seen with these just rapid rise in cost, almost daily rises in cost. So what we're going to do is break it down to an even 100. If the national average is right at 100, we will compare Spokane, Washington to that. And so the first thing that hits is your utility costs. So, Mike, let's just talk about like an average internet bill. And for some of the outlying areas, what kind of options do they have for internet?
You bet. Internet's critical with many people moving here now working from home. So we have a huge presence with Comcast throughout the metro area here. There are dish options, wireless options, because we have a lot of rural properties that people live on and they need high-speed internet.
And I forgot to mention the number, but it comes in 78. So considerably lower than the national average. And that's the one thing about Spokane is it actually is a larger city. So you have a Vista Utilities right there, and you have hydroelectricity being right from the dam. And some of the stuff from Bonneville Power, and I know this because I was a lineman, we're actually creating power and selling it. So, I mean, we have the actual power generation right here. So, one, the electrical costs are a little bit cheaper. And two, the weather allows you to not have to run ACs for extended periods of time, have to run heat for extended, it can be pretty minimal. If anything, your winter time is going to really kick your butt with gas prices. But I mean, what's a biggest bill you've seen?
So some larger homes, will get up in the $500-$600 a month range. But I hear people talking about I hear people talking about their air conditioning bills coming from where they're coming from being $1,000 a month. So they're big in the winter. It's just a reverse.
Right. And so the wintertime is when you're going to get hit more, with those gas. But again, Avista supplies gas as well. So Vista Utilities is right there. But you're going to see considerably lower. I mean, you're going to have some months, especially in the spring, falls, where it's under $100. I live right in the Coeur d'Alene, the North Idaho area. And you see a lot of bills that are sub $100 and max, $200 something dollars maybe in the winter. But, a lot of us burn wood too to save on those. Number two, health costs comes in at 83 out of or considerably, again, lower than the national average. It sounds like we're painting the perfect picture, right? But let's talk about those hospitals and the just how incredible they are here.
Well, they're great. We have, like I said, a variety of hospitals around the area, great medical care. And just like our infrastructure, they're being taxed to their limit with the new people coming into the area. We're proud of the fact that, we have great medical care here and readily available. But like everything, it's being pushed to the limits.
And can you give any broad examples of any healthcare costs that you see and maybe that someone could base that off of where they're at?
Well, like you said, we're 83 on the scale of 100. So you can kind of do the mathematics and say what that is. I do find we have a lot of nonprofit facilities too that take care of folks in this area. Overall, our coverage is very, very good. That's what I do know.
Yeah, and I know that, Spokane is known in the Northwest as having some of the best hospitals around. So that is a major bonus to have those. Groceries come in at 98.8, so a little bit below, almost national average. You're not going to see anything drastic here. There is some health food stuff, but it's just real general stores. Is there any grocery stores you absolutely love to go into?
We've got some great ones. We've got some local players that are in the area, the Yokes, the Rosars, the what have you, and
Yeah.
then we've got all the nationals, the WalMarts, the Safeways, the Albertsons. All of those exist up here, and yeah.
Back in the day when we had to drive over to Spokane just to hit Costco, and now they're everywhere you look. But I remember when Spokane got that first Costco, my parents took me there all the time. And as a kid, you're like, oh, this sucks. But I did get that hot dog as a kid. But
Yeah.
really, the major cost that everybody's seeing, I will say, utility. When we talk to people coming from different areas, they tend to see everything as a little bit more affordable. The last thing is state income tax. Is there any here?
Not in Washington.
Right. So you will see a higher sales tax than you will in Idaho, and that will hit you a little bit harder. So you go over to Idaho, shop, whatever. But the income tax, you do not have that in the state of Washington. So that is a major bonus. But let's get into what everybody else wants to know is the housing. What's right now for Spokane the median price?
So we're hovering in the mid 300,000s for Eastern Washington, the Metro Spokane area, and certainly that varies from region to, community to community.
Is that typically like a 3-1, a 3-2 style home?
Yeah, probably more like a 3-1. When we start to get up into the 3-2s, that goes into the 400, crests over the 400 range.
And that's what we've seen. I mean, basically anything in that 300 to 400 is going to be so stinking competitive to
Yes.
get into. And a
Yes.
lot of that is because not the people relocating here, but the locals, just trying to get into those homes. It's grown so fast. It's pricing people out. And that's just, something we have to face. But let's kind of go through a few different areas, who lives there, what it's like there, the styles of home and the prices. And we'll start with an area that, man, wasn't nothing really going on other than Eastern Washington, but the West Plains. What are those areas? Why is it starting to blow up, and what's out there?
So the West Plains is comprised of a couple of cities, actually three: Medical Lake, Airway Heights, and Cheney. And it really started to grow about 10 years ago. But in the most recent, probably 4 to 5 years, we've put in a huge Amazon fulfillment center there, one of the largest in the inland Northwest, or in the West, actually. And we have a second one going in east of Spokane. But on the West Plains, they needed a lot of jobs out there to be filled. And so a lot of people started to move. So that tends to be one of our most economical areas to move to.
Yeah, because Coeur d'Alene and Spokane grew together from the Spokane Valley, Liberty Lake. That's what we'll talk about. Those used to be very separate, and now it's really grown together. So the real room to grow, more northern, but definitely, out to those West Plains. There's just so much space. You go out of Spokane, the hills, and all of a sudden, you're flat out there. It is a really, really crazy transition. The next one, definitely for suburban lifestyle, family lifestyle, is Meade Colbert. Let's talk about kind of price points out there and who's out there.
So the Meade Colbert area is north of the city and offers some rural options that the other areas do not. Certainly when you get up and you put 5 acres under a house, your price goes up. So, you're probably going to be in the $500,000 to $800,000 range for a nice home on some acreage. And oftentimes you can get a shop or an outbuilding for that. So that's what's offered out in that area.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And then there is, that new construction suburban style. Families love it out there. Meade High School is incredible, both just for sports and for education. So you can stretch that. You start stretching the budget $600 to $800 in those areas. How much house can they get there?
So that's pretty much like your 4-2 bedroom combination on maybe 5 acres with a little shop, and we have a significant amount of our million and multi-million dollar homes out in that area as well, as you can imagine.
Right. And so that's one thing that, everybody kind of looks at downtown Spokane and the congestion there. But if you want, a little bit more space, you're not far from downtown Spokane from all the events. You're still not even that far from I-90 or the airport, but you get a little bit more space, incredible schools. That Colbert Meade area up north is one you'd want to, look into. The next one is, North Spokane, kind of the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm. North Spokane is an older area. It was post-war, residential, good areas, decent schools, more modestly priced, probably in that $300,000 to $400,000 price range.
And you go through North Spokane, obviously it is different. But before you get out to the Meade Colbert area, but it is kind of that older. You cross the river, so it'll be a little bit more smaller living. Who typically lives in the North Spokane area?
So North Spokane are a lot of folks, working class, great folks, want to be
Yep.
close to town. We have a lot of civil jobs in the area. That seems to be a
Yep.
lot of the folks there.
So then the next one, obviously, I was just mentioning at the beginning of the video, is the Valley. So this is going to be everything, the Spokane Valley Mall was like the biggest thing in the world when that came for us. But let's talk about the Valley. What is in there, what it's comprised of, and the style of living.
You bet. So the Spokane Valley stretches from the eastern limits of the city of Spokane all the way to the Idaho border, in essence.
Yep.
And so you've got communities like Green Acres and Liberty Lake and Otis Orchards, and those areas. A lot of folks that want a little bit of acreage with the convenience of that I-90 corridor stretching, and in many cases, the 99206 zip code, for instance, Realtor.com just named as one of the top zip codes in the country because of its proximity being halfway to Coeur d'Alene, halfway downtown Spokane.
Yep, these are areas that were just fields, and they completely built out. But like Liberty Lake per se, I want to touch on it because I can remember vividly as a kid. I had a friend move there, and there was nothing there. There was like that old ski resort mountain. We used to ride motorcycles on there, and then all of a sudden, like mansions started being built on there. There's a
Yeah,
lake
yeah.
there. It's a sneaky lake. Some of the best golf courses, and you're like hugged right onto I-90, and you border Idaho. So it's really, who's really attracted to that area.
So Liberty Lake, you're right, didn't exist 30 years ago, and now it's just completely grown up, and it's like this perfect little country club city with a lake, with golf courses, with mountains around it. The people who tend to congregate there are a lot of families in that area. There's a lot of community activities in the area, beautiful tree-lined sidewalk streets. It really appeals to the families.
Yep, and you're going to have views of the river right there, and you are on the Idaho border, so heading over, enjoying those lakes as well. And we saw a lot of tech companies come right there, so there's actually good jobs right in that Liberty Lake. I remember like the first tech companies coming to that whole area. It was right there in Liberty Lake, and it sparked the growth. But it's really pretty. It's an area that people moving here don't even know about, as well as he quickly mentioned like the Otis Orchards and stuff. So anything to the north of I-90, you cross over the river, and you'll drive through this and you'll see these massive homes right on the river. So you can find that, and you're just 15 minutes from downtown Spokane. You're maybe 20 minutes from the airport, so they can put you pretty close. We talked about Liberty Lake, obviously. Let's talk about one of the last areas. Super desirable, older style homes, South Hill. Your jam. Paint the picture.
So yeah, like you said, Jackson, that's my home. Very close proximity to downtown, and beautiful old oak tree-lined streets, larger, older homes and mansions. A lot of parks. It really appeals to a lot of people. A little tougher to get into because of the high desirability there, but it's a unique. It's like a Norman Rockwell painting of Spokane.
Yeah, and this is what we love doing when you reach out and you talk about lifestyle things you like, the styles of homes, from the trees to the fields to the river. Like there are some areas that you've never even heard of in the Spokane area, Spokane Valley, Liberty Lake, that we know of like the back of our hand, And so that's what we really enjoy is when you reach out about Spokane, just tell us what you're moving here for, what you like, and then I got these 2-3 areas you've never heard of that we can help you move to. So the only way we can help you is you've got to reach out. You've got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when moving to Spokane and North Idaho. Until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.